Don't feed the bears. Especially don't feed them Big Macs. Alright, we're here at the Napa Rose at the Disney Grand California Hotel. This is my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, honey. Checking out the wine list. You can actually see behind her, that's what's called the chef's table. Now, the chef's table is actually pretty expensive and you have to call the restaurant to book far in advance. But the cool thing is you get to sit at the kitchen. So we did it once before and it's a great experience. But today we're just at the table. So let's go ahead and look at the menu. So the Napa Rose is a pretty expensive restaurant, but it has a lot of delicious food. Thank you. This is our third time here, and the menu is seasonal and it changes. So just giving you guys like a little preview of the menu. You can also order a prefix dinner if you are bad at making decisions. Alright, and our bread has arrived. The bread bowl comes in this fancy antler looking thing, of course, to go with the Californian theme. We got butter over here, and what I actually love here is, you can't really see, but those those things that look like tiny pizza slices, those are actually like cheese sticks. They are so good. Probably bad for you, but they're delicious. But yeah, everything here is nice, warm, fresh, and delicious. So, time to dig in. Alright, so we just finished our first appetizer. The scallop was perfectly cooked, perfectly seasoned, like a little bit salty, and it was on a bed of chorizo, peas, and some other stuff. It was like very delicious. But like the best part about that dish actually wasn't the scallop in my opinion. The best part was definitely the octopus. The octopus was so tender. It was on a bed of bell pepper sauce, or not sauce, like a puree. Perfect. Alright, here's our second appetizer, and yes, this is an appetizer. It's actually like a peach cobbler skillet cake, and on top there is pork confit and burrata, which is like an Italian cheese with like sweet cream inside, essentially, if you've never had it. But yeah, it looks pretty fancy and pretty filling. Alright, so we just finished our second appetizer, and that was also really good, but in a different way. And so the components of this dish were actually kind of interesting. It's almost like a pizza in a way, because you have the cake, which is, you know, it's dough, right? And then on top you have the burrata, which is essentially mozzarella. And then you have the pork confit, which is the meat, right? And then and there was also some greens on the plate, and of course the peach on top. And so like every component actually brought something different to the dish. The mozzarella brought richness, right? The pork brought a saltiness and a savoriness, and the peach brought a sweetness. And all the flavors just combined perfectly. I actually really liked this dish. I still like the octopus a lot more just because it was so perfectly cooked and tender, but yeah, this dish is also really good. Alright, just finished our entrees and I am stuffed to the rafters. So we had two dishes. I had the pork chop, and the pork chop was amazing, cooked perfectly to a medium. It came with a sweet sauce, and it also came with like a pork rib, which was so tender, and the meat just fell off the bone. I mean, yeah, like there's not much to say. Like Napa Rose is very consistent with their food. It always comes out perfectly cooked, and the flavors just work so well together. I also got to taste a little bit of my wife's rack of lamb. And the lamb was also perfectly cooked, so tender, and I'm actually honestly like not a huge fan of lamb, but this lamb was so good. It had like this very light, gamey taste, that lamb taste to it, but otherwise it was just a really tender piece of meat, and it was delicious. The sauce was actually a really good sauce. I liked her sauce more than mine, but you know, it's a different dish. Can't really compare. The sauce was also sweet, but it had a little bit of spice in it, a little cumin, some other stuff. So it complemented the lamb perfectly and gave it like a little bit of bite to the dish. So it's not just all one note. If there's anything I could complain about, like my dish, maybe I would like a little bit more spice, but maybe that's me just being Asian. I want a little bit of spice and everything. But yeah, it's like amazing food here. Alright, I have like absolutely no room for dessert, but might as well show you the dessert menu. Oh, let me get my shadow out of the way. So a good selection of desserts. They have coffee, tea, and of course at any fancy restaurant you got dessert wine. Let's get 3 ounces of that 1885. Only 300 bucks. Alright, since you know, we're at Disneyland anyway, we thought we'd hop on, we're actually on the railroad right now. And you can probably hear that in the background, but there's also a parade going on, the Main Street Electrical Parade. So we're probably going to catch the Disneyland Railroad, hopefully get to Haunted Mansion. There's only like a 10-minute wait right now because everyone's in line for, not in line, sorry. They're sitting on the ground for the parade and then for the fireworks. So yeah, the parade's like right over here. You could actually kind of see the floats from here. It's kind of cool. The parades actually go around, so I don't know if you guys see, but like Mickey's right there. See if I can zoom in.
Welcome aboard Holiday 2 on the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated at all times.
Yeah, there's Mickey. Oh.
Parents, please supervise your children and make sure that the little ones are seated away from the large car opening, either towards the inside of the bench or on a lap. Our next scheduled stop is New Orleans.
For the first stop.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad.
So I know you guys can't see it from here, but the cool thing about riding the train at around like 9 p.m.-ish is like, you know, we left with this parade. Now we're in New Orleans Square and Fantasmic is going on in the background. So I can't actually see anything from this point of the train, but you can definitely hear it.